In college algebra, we pressed on and talked about more properties of logarithms. So we have three that we're addressing today: product, quotient, and power rule. If you're multiplying two numbers and taking the log of them, you're allowed to break it into two logs with a plus sign. If you're dividing two numbers, you're allowed to break it into two logs with a subtraction. And if you're raising a number to an exponent, you're allowed to move it to the front of the log as a coefficient. So what we're going to do here on these problems today is expand. We're going to, in those properties that you see above, we're going to go left to right. So for example, on 1a, we're multiplying 7 and 5. You can break that into two logs. Log 4, 7 plus log 4, 5. Sure, you can type it into the calculator, but it's handy to be able to manipulate some of these so that you can solve equations, because we'll see some difficult questions down the road. Right now, we're just messing with the properties. On part B here, you can break that into two logs. And the left one, you can write even smaller. Don't forget, if there's not a base written, there's really a base of 10. And remember, we learned a while back that if you're taking the log of a base and of the same number, they cancel out and you get 1. And if you're ever unsure, feel free to just type it into the calculator. You would go control log 10, 10, and you get 1. It's like 10 to what power still gives you 10, and it's 1. All right. Let's move on to number 2. So on number 2, we're going to use the quotient rule because we're dividing two numbers. All right. So we break it into two logs. You subtract the two logs, and numerator goes first and denominator last. And that's it. It gets a little more complicated later because you have multiple properties happening at the same time, but those are the basics. If you ever see natural log, it has the same properties as a log. So I'm going to use the quotient rule. I'll go natural log of e to the third minus natural log of 3. Now, a few things are still happening. We can take this 2 more steps. I can use the power rule and move that to the front. Don't forget ln is the same as log e. So if I do ln e, isn't that log base e of e? And didn't we do that earlier with 10, 10? Don't we just get 1? E to what power is still e? It's a 1. So I can change this to this, or just write 3 minus ln 7. And that's it. On number 3, it backs up a little bit in difficulty. It's just the power rule. And we get 4 log 5 of 7. All right, part B and the rest are confusing because you need to make a radical and exponent. So let's review. If I convert this to an exponent, don't forget that we have a 1 right there and a 2 right there. Always, always. If it's just a regular square root, there's really a 2 there. And what you do is you move those numbers into a fraction like that. So that means if you're doing the cube root of a number, you write it as x to the 1/3. If you're doing the square root of a number squared, whoops, let's not do squared. Let's do cubed, because that wouldn't make sense. That just cancels out. We would get x to the 3/2. All right? So on part B here, we go ln x to the 1/2. And since we have an exponent, let's move it to the front. And that's it. That's all you have to do. I think it looks a little cleaner if you write ln x over 2, but I'll take either. Either of those are okay. All right, I'm going to scroll down. We're almost done. So number 4, A and B are pretty involved, especially part B. So ask yourself, what is happening to both x and y? You're multiplying them. Both x and y are being multiplied. If you're confused, I mean, are they both being squared? No, just the x. Are they both being square rooted? Just the y. So I can't do anything with the square or the square root, but I can do the product rule and write it like this. Then move your exponents. So this becomes 2 log bx plus log by to the 1/2. 2 log bx plus log by. Whoops, I forgot to move the 1/2 to the front. There we go. That was looking really weird. Log by, which I am a-okay with you stopping right there. Or if you want to address that 1/2 a little differently, you could write it like this. Both look pretty good. You don't have to write that if you don't want to. Both are okay in my book. All right, part B, pretty involved. They are both being divided. There's an argument to be made that you could mess with the denominator first, but that gets really confusing. I would deal with the dividing first. So I would write log 6 cube root of x minus log 6 36y to the 4th. Now be really careful on the next line. We have log 6x to the 1/3 minus log 6 36 plus log 6y to the 4th. Now be careful right here, because that's actually wrong. You're subtracting right here that entire log. Well, I still have to subtract this entire thing because those two underlined pieces are equivalent. So wrap it in parentheses. Now it's right. All right, almost done. 1/3 log 6x minus 6 to what power is 36? 2. Move that 4 in front. And you got it. If you want to write it like this is also okay. I mean, we could be here all day writing all the possibilities, but hopefully you pick one of these. And that's it. That last one was a little ugly. Have a good one. Bye.